What are the scientifically proven strategies that we can start using today to strengthen the mind? By the end of this video, we'll take away 3 evidence-based strategies that you can use to strengthen the mind by nurturing your mental well-being and happiness. In this video, we're going to focus on how our digital and physical environments that we live in affect our happiness. So watch until the end of this video to learn and use scientific knowledge to strengthen the mind, but also to live a more meaningful life. Does how much time we spend on our smartphone affect our happiness? Research shows that our digital screen time significantly affects our mental well-being. A survey of more than 120,000 people shows that using a smartphone on a weekday for up to 2 hours can actually improve your mental well-being, but any usage that exceeds 2 hours reduces your mental well-being. But on a weekend, any usage of smartphone or any amount of digital screen time negatively affects our mental well-being. So in order to maximize your mental well-being, on a weekday, spend up to 2 hours a day on your smartphone or a digital screen, but do not exceed more than 2 hours. And on a weekend, put your phone away in order to protect your mental well-being. There have been many days where I binged watched movies all day long on my smartphone or an iPad, to the extent that I started questioning about the meaning of life and that everything just seems so meaningless to me. But the question is, why does spending a lot of time on a digital screen negatively affect your mental well-being? And whether certain types of individuals are more negatively affected by spending more time on digital screen. For me, this feeling of defeat and loss as a result of watching too many things, too many movies, or playing too much games, or watching too many YouTube videos on a digital screen really causes greater stress on me and reduces my mental well-being. It's true, if you have found honey, eat only enough for you, lest you have your fill of it and vomit it. How does what we say in an online environment affect our physical well-being? Research shows that what we say on Twitter is highly predictive of our physical well-being. Data on 148 million tweets in the US were combined with data on heart diseases across more than 1,300 counties in the US. The analysis showed that the more people use the words like fuck, hate, bored, and tired, they're more likely to live in places where they have a higher levels of death from heart diseases. So when the people use words that reflect aggression, hatred, boredom, and fatigue, they're more likely to live in neighborhoods where more people actually die from heart diseases. But when people use more words like skills, community service, meeting, hope, opportunity, strength, achieve, when people use these kind of words, that they are more likely to live in places where they have lower levels of death from heart diseases. So when our word choices reflect skills attainment, optimism, and nurturing social relationships, they're more likely to live in places where they have lower levels of death from heart diseases. The words that we use on Twitter reflect the shared economic, psychological, and physical characteristics of the places that we live in, which are highly predictive of our mental and physical well-being. So it'd be interesting to study whether the words that people use are also predictive of crime rates in different places. I certainly feel that the words that we use are reflective of our character and personality, but I also believe that the language and the words that we choose to say can also further shape our character and personality. So in order to nurture our well-being, we should cultivate skills attainment, social relationships, and optimism in our lives, that they become reflected in the words that we choose on social media. Choose your words wisely that they may build up and encourage other people. What was the last comment or tweet that you made on social media? Share them in the comments below and guess what the death rate due to heart diseases might be in your neighborhood. Would it be high or low based on your last comment that you made on social media? How does the physical environment that we live in affect our mental well-being and happiness? Does the amount of green space like parks and gardens around our neighborhood affect our happiness? A survey of more than 10,000 people over 17 years shows that people who live in urban areas with more green space like parks and gardens actually report greater levels of life satisfaction but lower levels of mental distress. Scientific evidence shows that just by living in places with more green space like parks and gardens, we can find greater happiness. Our nature is not only a source of inspiration but of healing and happiness. But can simply growing a plant or a tree in our house create the same amount of happiness as living in places with more green space like parks and gardens? It would be interesting to study whether we can extract all the benefits of living in an area with more green space just by planting a tree or a flower in our house. When we really begin to see and appreciate the beauty in all the natural world that surrounds us, we can really find greater happiness in life. So next time you walk past a tree or when you see a park or a garden, pause for a moment to extract all the happiness that this green space is giving to your life. So the 3 key takeaways from this video are: first, do not spend more than 2 hours on a weekday on a smartphone or a digital screen in order to protect your well-being. And on a weekend, make sure to turn off your smartphone to really maximize your mental well-being. Second, make sure that your words that you use on social media do not reflect aggression, hatred, or boredom, or even fatigue. But make sure that you cultivate skills attainment, optimism, and social relationships, that the words that you choose to speak, the language you choose to use on social media reflect those values in order to protect your physical well-being. Third, next time you see a park or a garden or a tree or a flower, note that these green spaces are actually giving you a lot of happiness. So take a pause, take a moment of pause to really see and appreciate the beauty that surrounds us. I'm glad that you're here because you can now use scientific knowledge to strengthen your mind and to nurture your mental well-being. Subscribe to get more scientifically proven strategies to strengthen your mind.